guys, JuV Day 22, and I thought that for today's video, I would talk about the best D&D villain that I never got to use. So I created this villain several years ago for a campaign that I started running, but it kind of folded a few sessions in. So that's no one's fault, but I had such plans, and I may end up using this character again at some point, so if you're one of my players in any of the games that I've ever run at some point or other, don't necessarily listen to this one unless I've said this isn't happening. So, in order to create this character, I used the villain profile template that was on Giant in the Playground Games, which is the home of the webcomic Order of the Stick. It's a very long-running webcomic, and it may finish in the next couple of years. We will see. But he's got this villain template. It's no longer actually available on the site. It's still available through the Wayback Machine. I found it really helpful and really useful, so I used it quite extensively. The character was going to be a dwarf ranger called Gudrun Bloodfire. She never actually met the characters that she was going to be the villain for, but the setup was in there a bit. She was going to be the sort of head of the Dwarven Defense Force. Now, in this world, there was going to be dwarves were going to be basically a bit of a endangered species. They were still a whole culture and everything, but they were in the one mountain, and the one mountain was the only place they were, really, and they were in danger very much of going extinct, and it was not a very fun situation for them. Gudrun was not very happy about it all. She was going to get more and more desperate the more the players encountered her as to things going badly, and what was going to happen was they were going to have this plague thing going on that was going to really be a threatening thing for the dwarves to actually be like that going extinct, and she was going to have been hearing things from her magic axe all this time, a family heirloom that linked back way ages ago to the dwarves in previous enslavement by various giants, specifically one fire giant who had them as Azers in his time. And so what was going to happen was that in order to solve this plague that was threatening her, that the PCs were going to stop, but only after she'd realized this whole thing, she was gonna effectively sell out her own race in order to try and save them by putting them back into the sort of clutches of this fire giant. Or Titan, I think, was also one of the things that I'd sort of identified as being a possible master. But she was going to sort of be turned into an Azer and would have the ability to turn other dwarves into Azers as well. She was not going to be very happy about this and would basically be scheming her own way to trying to defeat and unenslave people, but she also was not very happy with anyone. She was very regretful and she was quite desperate about everything. So she was going to sort of go and try and meet with the players who she hadn't forgiven for seemingly failing to stop this from happening to her, and she was going to basically go and get them to help destroy this master that she had unwillingly enslaved herself to. And then, when they did that, she was going to turn on everybody and go, actually, I'm going to do this thing. And she was going to then decide, okay, I'm going to take over. And the more that people sort of resisted against her, she was going to get more and more desperate and more deciding to end up burning the world. She had this plot that she was going to use, which was going to be that she needed essences of different elements. She herself, as an Azer, was going to be a living essence of fire, but she also needed essences of the 3 other classical elements, plus life and death, which were going to be scattered around the world, connected to the different players in some way, shape, or form. And she also needed servitors to act and control each essence for each element. And so there was going to be a lot of running around working out who was what and where these different essences were, and then she was going to try and basically oppose the players by doing this, and they were going to have to, try and get the essences and or servitors away from her, and she would get these all into this ritual in a sacred space, and then she would need to do all of those and then have basically a ritual. This ritual would then grant her complete control over one of the elements that she was sort of going with, and she was going to choose fire, and she was going to burn the world to ashes because she was just tired of it all. She felt really, really hard done by. And honestly, she was. But obviously the players were going to stop her, and, well, that didn't happen because the game folded. But I still really felt this was a really cool sort of villain, and I wanted to talk about her because I liked it. I liked it a lot. One of the big things that I was trying to go with for this was that I was trying to sort of echo the whole story of Arthas the Lich King from Warcraft, because, well, he's a great villain, and so, there's differences, but she basically became what she hated in an attempt to sort of, fight it, and I just really liked the sort of ideas, and I really wanted the players to really have a sense of betrayal at this person that used to be their friend that just got pushed too far and became their enemy. It just was a really compelling idea, and I had such plans, but it just went a bit tits up there, so that's just the way it goes sometimes. So that was the best D&D villain that I never got to use. I think that they're pretty good and pretty compelling, but obviously didn't get to use them. Just the way it goes sometimes. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the character, or if you've got any ideas that would have made them even better, or whatever. Or tell me in the comments also what your best D&D villain that you've never got to use, or just character in general if you don't GM. I'd love to know, so tell me down there. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails over there to see other videos by me, click on the link in the description to join my Discord, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the next day of JuV.